Hi students, in the previous video we have discussed about what is an array and how the array elements are stored in the memory location, right? So in today's lecture we are going to discuss about how to declare one dimensional array, okay? So the syntax of one dimensional array or declaration of one dimensional array is like this, that is data type and then variable name, that is array name, and then the size of the array, which we have already seen in the previous video, right? So for example, if the array is collection of integer, then the data type will be int and then any variable name you can give. But again, in order to provide the variable name, you have to follow rules for variables, that is rules for identifiers. Those rules need to be followed here also. Finally, it is a variable name, correct? So any variable or valid variable name you can give, that will be considered as array name. Okay, here array name is n, and finally the size of the array we should specify. So if the size is 5, then it can hold only 5 integer values. It cannot hold more than 5. So the size is fixed here. If you have specified the size while declaring the array, then the size of the array is fixed. Okay. So and one more example is using float, that is array of floating values. So here we have declared the size as 50. It means that this particular variable height is of type float. It means it is an array of floating values which can hold 50 elements or 50 floating values. Okay, and you can observe here, this is an array of characters. So array of characters is nothing but what? Collection of characters. It is nothing but a string. That's why string is also known as an array, because it is a collection of characters. So collection of any similar items or similar values will be considered as an array. That's why string is also considered as an array. So whenever you declare an array type as character, it means that that array is nothing but a string. So here the array name is name, and then it can hold 10 characters. Here the elements are 10 characters. Okay, so here the name array, which is also a string, can hold only 10 characters. For example, if the name variable is initialized with well done, this value well done, okay, here well done will be stored in the memory location in this manner. So one character in each memory location. So it cannot hold more than one character in one memory location. So W is stored in the first memory location and then E. So observe here, all are stored as a character. So characters are represented by single quotes. Even though it is a string, they are stored as characters. Okay, W in the first location, E in the second, L, then also the space is also stored in the memory location, because after well there is a space between well and done, right? That's why even the space will be stored in the memory location, because even the space is considered as a character, correct? That's why here the space is also stored. After that, DONE, yeah. Observe here carefully, after the end of well done there is one extra character here. What is that? We have not specified that character in the statement, right? While initializing we have not used this character, but still it is being stored in the memory location. How, why and how? Whenever a compiler sees a string, so whenever a compiler sees the data type is of string, then while storing the string, at the end of the string it will always add one extra character which is known as null character. So it adds one extra character at the end of a string. Why it does so is to indicate that it is the termination of the string, it is the end of the string. So there is no more characters after this particular character. So in order to indicate the end of the string, it always adds one extra character, that is null character, at the end of the string. Understanding? So backward slash 0, it is 0 not O, backward slash 0, it is called the null character. So always at the end of the string an extra character, that is null character, will be added by the compiler. We are not going to add it, it will be done by the null character. Okay. So if we want to store 9 characters, here there are 9 characters, WELL 4 plus 1 space 5, DONE 4, 5 plus 4 9. So if we want to store 9 characters, then the size of the array should be 10, because we need one extra memory location to hold the null character. If we declare this as 9 instead of 10, if you specify the size as 9, then this E will be removed, or it will give you an error. If you specify the size as 9, then the compiler will give you an error, or some error will be produced by the compiler. So if you want to store 9 characters, then the size of the array should be one more, that is 10 characters. Okay, that's why here the size is given as 10, not 9. Okay, is that clear? Yeah, let's go to the next topic, that is initialization of 1D arrays. So we have declared the array. So we have declared the array with data type and the variable name and the size, correct? So once we have declared any array or any data type, we have to give them some initial values, right? Otherwise what happens? If we don't initialize the array, what happens? It will take some garbage value, correct? If the elements of the arrays are not initialized, then it will contain garbage values. That's why we need to initialize the array elements. And these array elements, and these array elements can be initialized at 2 stages. The first one is at compile time and the second one is run time. Let's see how to initialize the array at compile time. The syntax for this is type array name and then the size same. How we used to do in the declaration. It is same. Is equal to, we have to use the assignment operator, is equal to, then the list of values. So if we want to initialize any array, then at compile time, so at the time of the declaration itself, we are going to initialize with the specific values. At the time of the declaration itself, we are going to specify the values. So let's see one example. Yeah. See this example, int number So number is an array of integer types and which can hold 3 elements. The size of the array is 3 and we have given some values 2, 1 and 4. So all are separated by commas. It means that number of 0 will be initialized with 2 and number of 1 is initialized with 1 and number of 2 is initialized with 4. So each element is initialized with their specific, that is corresponding values. So the first element, that is number of 0, that is 0th index, that is nothing but first element. First element is initialized with 2. Number of 0 is the first element. It is initialized with 2 and the second element that is number of 1 is initialized with 1 and the third element, that is number of 2, is initialized with 4, because there are only 3 elements, number of 0, number of 1 and number of 2. We do not have number of 3 because the size of the array is only 3. So it can hold 0, 1 and 2. Is that clear? So this is called initialization of array at the time of compilation. So while declaring the array itself, we are initializing the values. Is it clear? Yeah. In this step, we can also omit the size. If you are not if you are not comfortable with the size, or if you don't know what is the size of your array, then you can omit the size. So the compiler will allocate enough space for all initialized elements. So if you don't know the size, then you can initialize the values like this without specifying any size. Int number, then the pair of square brackets. Within square brackets, you are not going to put any size because you are not sure of the size. So you are going to give it blank, leave it blank, is equal to 1, 1, 1, 1. It means that all elements of number array are initialized with 1. So the compiler will understand that by looking at the initialization values, because we are providing 4 values. So by looking at the values, the compiler will understand that the size of the array number is 4, because we are providing 4 values. So it means that there are 4 elements in the number. Therefore the size of the number array is 4. The compiler will understand this. So the compiler will allocate 4 memory locations for these initialized elements. So number of 0 is initialized with 1, number of 1 is also initialized with 1, number of 2 is also initialized with 1 and number of 3 is also initialized with 1. So in this manner, all the elements of number array will be initialized with 1. So you can, if you want, you can omit the size of the array. Yeah. Character arrays can be initialized in a same manner. So how we have done for the numeric arrays, in the same way we can also initialize the character arrays. Character arrays are nothing but strings. So here also there is a provision to omit size. Okay. So character name is the size of the array which holds these characters. John is the name of a person. So it can hold So if you want to initialize this array, then you have to also provide the null character. Okay. If you are initializing in this manner, then you have to provide the null character. So and each are indicated by single quotes because they are separate characters. Each are represented by single quotes and they are separated by commas. And one more thing I forgot to tell you, while initializing you have to use the flower brace, that is you have to use the brace for initializing the values, pair of braces. Within the brace we are going to put the values and those values will be separated by commas. I forgot to tell you in the while initializing the arrays. Okay, here the syntax, it is pair of braces. So we are going to use pair of braces for initialization. Okay, yeah. So if we are initializing the string in this manner, then we are going to separate each character by single quotes and commas, and at the end we have to also specify the null character. Okay, and this is one way of initializing the string. The other way is you can use double quotes and all these characters are written like this. So here we are not going to use any comma and also we are not going to use braces. So either of this will be used, and also we are not using any null character here. This will be added by the compiler if you are using this method, but if you are using this way then you have to specify the null character at the end. Okay, don't use comma or brace or any null character if you are using this manner. If you are using this method then you have to use single quotes, commas as well as brace, and one more thing is null character. Okay, yeah. The next point is, if the number of initializers are less than declared size, remaining elements are initialized to 0. What does that mean? Yeah, see here, in this example the size of the array is 5. It means that there are 5 elements in the array number and it is of type int. Int means number, correct? Yeah, but we are providing only 2 values in the initialization part. There are 5 elements in the number array, but we are providing only 2 values, means we are initializing only 2 elements. So what happens here is, number of 0, that is the first element, will be initialized with 10 and number of 1 is initialized with 20. So compiler sees, is there any next initializer, number of 2, but there is no initializer here, there is no value, that's why it will initialize number of 2 with 0, and also number of 3 will be initialized to 0, and finally number of 4 also will be initialized to 0. So if the number of initializers are less than declared size, remaining elements are initialized to 0. So these two will be the initialization values for first 2 elements. We cannot have number of 2 is equal to 10. No. This means that first 2 elements are initialized with 10 and 20 respectively. Then the remaining elements will be initialized to 0 because there are no values provided for those 3 elements, correct? Yeah, if array type is numeric then 0 will be assigned, but if array type is character then the remaining elements will be initialized with null, that is here character city of 4. So character city of 4. Sorry, I think there is a mistake. It is not Belgavi. Okay. So this is wrong. Character city of 4. It can hold only 4 characters. Okay. Yeah. Please do the changes. Yes. Character city of 4, and it is initialized to B. So only the first character element is initialized. That is city of 0 is initialized with B. So city of 1, city of 2, city of 3 are not initialized. That's why they will be initialized with null. Null. Please make the changes. This is wrong. Okay. Because the maximum number of characters this particular array can hold is only 4. Okay. And also this representation was wrong. Okay. Yeah. This is correct. So only B, that is the first character element is being initialized with B, and the remaining characters, so remain, that is city of 1, city of 2, city of 3, those are initialized with null because there are no values for them. That's why they are initialized with null. And then if there are more initializers, compiler will produce an error. If there are less initializers, the remaining will be initialized with 0 or null according to the data type. But if there are more initializers, for example, here the size of the array is 3, but we are providing 4 values. We are trying to initialize the fourth element, but there are only 3 elements. How we are going to initialize the fourth element? If it is not existing, how we are going to initialize? That's why it will the compiler will produce an error. So it is an illegal in the C program. If there are more initializers, then the compiler will produce an error. If there are less initializers, then there is no problem. Only those remaining elements will be initialized with 0 or null. But if there are more initializers, it is going to give an error. Is that clear? Yeah. So then the next topic is how initialization can be done at runtime. Array can be explicitly initialized at runtime, and these initializations are used for initializing the large arrays. So if the array size is very small, then we can use compile time initialization. It means we can give or we can initialize the individual elements of the arrays. But imagine if the array is of 100 elements. If the array size is 100, it means there are 100 elements in the array. Then are you going to individually initialize all those 100 elements? No, that is not possible, right? Or if more than 100, if it is 1000, are you going to sit and initialize those 1000 elements individually? No, that is not possible, right? That's why there is a provision for initializing the array at runtime. That is by using for loop. We can also use while loop or do while loop for initializing. Okay. Yeah. Here in this example we are using for loop. So for I is equal to 0, I less than 100, because the size of the array is 100 here. I less than 100, I plus plus. If I is less than 10, if I is less than 10, then sum of I is equal to 0.0. Here sum is the array. Sum is the array. Okay. So if the I element, that is if the elements, that is the first 9 elements are initialized with 0.0, because if I less than 10 means if that is the first 9 elements less than 10, therefore first 9 elements, sorry, it is 0 to 10. or 0 to 9 means first 10 elements, sorry, not 9 elements, first 10 elements will be initialized with 0.0. I less than 10 means till 9, 0 to 9 there are 10 elements, right? Therefore, the first 10 elements will be initialized with 0.0, else sum of I is equal to 1.0, means the remaining 90 elements will be initialized with 1.0. So, this is the code, or this is the initialization at runtime. What is compile time initialization? If we are initializing the array at the time of the declaration, then it becomes compile time initialization. But if we are initializing any array after the declaration of that array, then it becomes runtime initialization. Is that clear? So, in this example, the first 10 elements are initialized with 0.0 and the remaining 90 elements are initialized with 1.0. So, that is sum of 10 to sum of 99, because the index starts from 0 and ends with 99. There are 100 elements, but index starts from 0 to 99. Therefore, first 10 elements are initialized to 0.0 and the remaining 90 elements are initialized to 1.0. Is that clear? Sorry. Yeah. We can also use scanf to initialize an array. So, for example, if we want to initialize this array, using scanf, see here, the size of this array is 3, that is why we are using 3 format specifiers. And what is the format here? It is integer data type, therefore it is mod d. 3 percentage d's are used because the array elements are 3, that is why we are going to initialize 3 elements. So, here we have to individually initialize them. So, each element will be initialized individually. Ampersand x of 0, ampersand x of 1 and ampersand x of 2. So, even using scanf we can initialize the array. Here the array will be initialized with the values entered from the keyboard. So, here the array values will be initialized from the keyboard. Is that clear? The first one was compile time, that is the programmer is going to initialize the array. So, that is fixed. In the second case, runtime, that is also done by the programmer itself. But in the third case, that is using scanf, here we are asking the user to initialize the array. So, he can do it through keyboard. He can input the array values. Is that clear? Yeah. So, in the next class, we are going to see one example on the arrays, 1D arrays. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.